if that's the case, sometimes we do play in the daytime and we play at festivals in the UK and stuff. More often than not, it's like 2-4 o'clock. There's going to be kids running around. So we, for one, always have a child-friendly-ish.
Yeah.
Well, the content might not be child-friendly, but there won't be any swearing in it. So we always have a version of that. But if we don't, then you use your words. That's what we're for. That's what we do. So we can kind of...
But that's the thing, isn't it? Because as we were just saying, we were just having a chat about how powerful words are. But they are by themselves. And all words can be used if lyrics are structured properly and they've got the right sort of research and background to them. They can cause revolutions, can't they, JorD?
Yeah. The inspiration that someone can take from music or from particularly hip hop, I don't know, because it has got a bit of pace to it, and there's it's focusing on those flows and those structures. If I write a really slow love track that's got 3 words per line in it, I can get emotion conveyed. But if I write a rap verse that's got 300 words per minute, I can get a lot of stuff said.
Picture's worth 1,000 words. It's an image compression.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And Jerry, you write as well, don't you? Tell us about your writing.
My last attempt at writing was when I was in the Bus Pass band, and I penned a song called The Bus Pass Blues, which was unashamedly about being an old git playing in a band. You can't write lyrics saying that you're in the deep southern states in America, or your baby's gone left you and all that, because so we were writing stuff like Prostate Blues and Bus Pass Blues, and it seemed to resonate with our audience at the time, because we're predominantly aging audience. We were an aging band. It was all a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's something you can identify with. I think there's very little point us trying to write stuff pretending we're from Harlem or something, because we're not. We live in the Isle of Man, and what I like about the boys' lyrics is that they're pertinent, and they're resonating with the audience as to matters that are going on now, and they're relevant. It's a new form of communication. I grew up with all the protest songs in the 60s, great artists like Joan Baez and Dylan, obviously, and stuff like that. But nowadays, as the game's moved on, it's the sort of rap and hip-hop that I've found, to my very pleasant surprise, an awful lot of people are listening to. And I think to have a little bit of edge, to have a bit of protest and get people thinking, I think that's a very important aspect of creativity in music, and I'm delighted the boys are doing it.
In that way, we grew up in 2018 and we choose to spend a lot of time playing music, which doesn't allow for a lot of earning. So to be able to say we're driving around in Bentleys and drinking like Tanqueray would be a lie.
I'm driving a rusty 98 Berlingo.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite sound the same as gin and juice, does it?
No.
So if you don't want to spout lies about how many women you sleep with or what have you, you start to think about something else. What else is going on.
But it's an interesting time for that, isn't it? Because when you think of the stuff that's going on at the minute, talking about lyrical inspiration, there is a lot. You've got, gender politics, you've got harassment, there's a lot going on. And I'm interested by something you posted, actually, Kieran, on your page about, for instance, this Sonder Festival, which I know you're going to be doing something at yourself, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it talks about, this festival are talking about the prevalent culture of violence and sexism in the music industry and how it's got to change. And so they're doing a special stage with female-driven acts, the white ribbon, all that kind of thing. Is all of that informing anything of what you're doing, or is it, as Jerry's saying, do you sort of turn more to sort of local issues, or what drives your content of your songs?
It really does change with the song, and sometimes it's what happens to us whilst we're gigging. We had a girl helping us out, trying to sell CDs at TT Week for us last year or the year before. And she came back afterwards, after the first day. I was like, I'm really sorry, guys, I don't want to do it. I keep getting touched up as I'm walking through the bar. It's really busy, it's full. Hands keep coming out and grabbing me. And it's, geez, I didn't know idea that was going to happen. I'm really sorry. No. And, from that point on, I've kind of, I'll keep an eye out. I'm happy to stop the song.
If there's a girl getting harassed in the crowd, we will stop the music there and then until she's left alone.
Yeah, there was, I've forgotten who it was, but there was an artist who did that, a huge artist in like a big stadium tour, wasn't it? That just sort of stopped playing because he could see there was something going on in the crowd. But it is interesting times, isn't it? And do you feel like because of what you do, because you pack in so many words and there is that idea of sort of being able to say something, possibly even change something, do you feel you've got a duty in some way to really make a statement with what you're doing?
quality control is an important thing. I think if you're going to have a platform to stand on, or a soapbox in my instance, if you're going to sit there and flap your gums about something and people are going to listen, if you're going to have a microphone or a megaphone or what have you, you might as well be saying something useful. You know, I could do what every other rapper does and just go on about how many words I can talk and how good I am and how I'm better than these fools and call other rappers names and stuff.
It's kind of been that way a long time, though. Like Public Enemy, I'll try and remember to not say the right word in this line.
Yeah.
It might feel good, it might sound a little something, but eep, the game if it ain't saying nothing. And, you know, that was back in 98.
Yeah.
There's nothing changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's... Oh, go on. Sorry, Jeremy.
We have, as an island, we've made tremendous progress in the last 30 years. You think, in terms of homosexuality used to be a criminal offence. Here there was no equal pay legislation. There was no employment protection. All these great things, and I think same-sex marriages have been a massive boost. And I think a lot of that has come from social pressure. And I think we're finding now the public are getting ahead of the politicians, which has never really happened before. And I think that's a great thing. And I think a lot of that is through the arts and through entertainment, not just music. But there's a massive sort of move towards equality and fairness in the Isle of Man that's going on. And I think it's coming from a lot younger generation than mine. We've done our bit. It's time to move over. But it's just very, very healthy to see. I would be very concerned if people were just doing covers of sort of mediocre songs. But it's not. There's an awful lot of people a little bit angry, bit of a message, bit of a protest, whatever their art form is, and I'm all for that. I think, and that is moving the game along. And as I say, public opinion, Brexit's a good example, and the Windrush scandal in the UK. Public opinion is now overtaking political dogma, and a vital part of that, I think, is through the arts, and particularly through music, where you're interfacing with a relatively small, intimate group of people.